Hello everyone, I am so pleased to have you here and I am delighted to have such a talk with you about counseling children and adolescents. I am Dr. Eskinder Yimer from Gelila International Seminary College. As a counselor, we are subject to high standard. Thus, in order to carry out our mission or our work effectively, we must prepare with knowledge and wisdom in a wide range of counseling area of study. Taking such courses or training is the preferred method. As I said always, having such a wonderful heart, a good heart, is not good enough or simply sufficient for ministry. Rather, learning all wisdoms and knowledge, all techniques how to perform it, completed the picture for successful mission. Therefore, I expect this course will give you the information you need. Before we begin, I would like to advise you something else, like just to remind you, this discussion follow has been structured around the book that you already have it. I only brought up some special points which give you enlightenment of the course only. But in order to have, for a better comprehension of the course, I just advise you to read the entire book. So let's dive into the course. By the way, this video lesson is prepared by Gelila International Seminary College. The title of our course is called Counseling Children and Adolescents. So we have two sessions. That means two parts in these courses. The first part is talking about basics and principles of approach. It has almost 6 chapters. The first one is establishing the context, guiding principles of practices, engaging and motivating families, becoming a child and adolescent centered, the structure of a strengths-based session, and the last in this part of the discussion is constructive understanding and formulation and diagnosis will be discussed in this part. The second part is it is talking about specific solutions and applications. Almost this part of the discussion or the lesson have 4 chapters. The first chapter of this part is strengths in numbers and parting groups, grouping work with children and adolescents, and posing as solutions, and the last one will be defeating temper. Let's go to the first part and discuss about chapter 1, establishing the context. There are, in your book, you will find some quotes like about childhood. It says, for children, childhood is timeless. It's always present today, is what they feel and when they say, when I will grow up, there's always an age on disbelief. How could they be other than what they are? Said Ian McQueen. On the part of parenthood, there is also one quote already said there. It says, becoming a parent brought me the greatest joy in life, but also the great heartache, once a parent said. So, childhood and adolescence are periods full of joy, sadness and excitement and fear, as well as rapid growth and new learning. There are also critical times when certain events and relationships greatly impact individual lives and determine futures. When we engage with the children, we also engage with their parents and the other significant member of their families. To be effective, we need to be sensitive to appreciate the experience of being a parent in its up and downs, its joys and sorrows. The lives of the children and parents are so extrinsically linked that we almost cannot help one without helping the other. That's why we counsel both the child and the parent as well. So if we help parents with their own concerns, then we help also their children, and if we help the children to change positively, then we also help their parents who care for them. So as a theoretical context and a guiding principle of counseling, we shall see four main theories or approaches. The first one is social constructionist framework. The second one is developing strengths-based practice toward practice, and the third one is toward inclusive systematic practice, and the last one is appreciating the professional context approach. In the first one, which is social constructionist framework, it's a kind of theory that people develop knowledge of the world in a social context, and that much of what we perceive as a reality depends on sharing assumptions from a social constructionist perspective. Many things we take for granted and believe are objective reality are actually socially constructed, and thus can change our society change. So this theory, the theory of social constructionism, states that meaning and knowledge are socially created. It is socially created, and social constructions demand that we strive to be self-reflexive and self-critical. So we are compelled to be theoretical flexible and not to cling to pet or favorite theories. So a social constructionist perspective, the therapeutic relationship is collaborative, one in which therapist and client to constructed meanings, understandings, and goals and treatment plan within the therapeutic conversation, operating from their respective knowledge bases. With the therapist cognizant of psychological model and best therapeutic practice research, and the client expert in the detail of his life. So the aim of the context helpful understanding that fit both with the unique experience of client, which is their life and best known psychological knowledge, and which satisfy ethical norms and broader societal expectation, and which ultimately are of a benefit to clients in achieving solution for their problems. Coming to therapy is often about retelling stories in different way that provide new perspectives, ideas, meanings, which are more helpful for children and to their family concerned. This process helps clients generate new constructive meanings and beliefs that lead to action and change. The aim is to move from narrow stories of problems, operation, to empowering stories of strength and hope, liberation that fits equally well with evidence of the client lives. From a social constructionist perspective, so the aim is to help clients understand the source of the ideas and beliefs that many define them as having a problem. Social constructionist framework has much to contribute to non-discriminatory multicultural practices. So in this case, the challenge is for the therapist to understand and appreciate the cultural factors that shape the lives of clients they meet, while being self-aware of their own personal cultural identity and how this impacts their therapeutic practices. In addition, therapists are obliged to be aware of societal forces, prejudice that may contribute to client problems. It is important then to note that non-discriminatory or multicultural practice is not limited to working with clients from different ethnic groups. There are many other groups in society have distinct subculture which require understanding and appreciation. When we come to the second practice is developing strengths-based practice. So focusing in this approach, focusing on understanding the interaction and communication patterns between people, the MRI team or MRI therapy involved a model of brief problem-solving therapy, which essentially conceived of problems as failed solutions and attempts, which were reinforced, maintained in pattern of family communication. For example, a mother is an effort to get close to her son may be bombard him with a question when he comes in from school. So this approach advises that may have opposite effect and cause him to pull away. The aim of MRI therapy then is to be identify these patterns and help the family do something different, something else, even if it is simply the opposite of what was happening or done before. So the mother may find a solution by waiting for her son and initiatives for to communicate and then listening rather than bombarding him with a lot of questions which irritate him as before. So strengths-based thinking is presumed that the greatest contribution of the solution-focused therapy model is the strengths-based thinking, that understanding the approach. So the model also provides us with a practical method via new questions and techniques to make the conversation we have both with our clients and colleagues more constructive and collaborative, and to orient a therapeutic practice toward solutions. A strengths-based approach can be conceived as building on foundational work of a person-centered approach, offering, say, techniques, conversational strategies that can help cultivate, maintain the attitude of unconditional positive regard. So in this regard, we shall see the comparison between the problem, which is pathology, and solutions, which is strengths approach, as follows. So when we come to problem-focused, we found that focus on understanding fixed problem patterns in client's life, whereas solution-focused, it focuses on understanding how change occurs in client lives and what positive possibilities are open to them. In the part of problem-focused, elicit a detailed description of problems and unwanted pasts. They elicit detailed descriptions of goals and preferred in the solution-focused. It elicits detailed description of goals and preferred futures. When we come to problem-focused, we found that person is categorized by the problems and diagnoses they have, whereas solution-focused, person is seen as more than the problem. This is the big difference. Solution-focused looks the person as something else more than the problem, with unique talents and strengths and personal stories. So you may get it in your book, the detail, so you shall see it. I recommend to see it, the whole differences between these two groups. When we come to evidence for strengths-based approach, which is the third one, we have seen that several research studies have been shown that sustained number of clients who are awaiting psychotherapy or who receive minimal treatment, on average almost 43% experience spontaneous remission. That is, they overcome problems by their own resource without any formal professional help, as Assay and Lambert studied. Other studies have also shown that in the general population, many people overcome problems through their own effort and resources without coming into contact with professional service at all. This video lesson is prepared by Gelila Seminary College. So in addition, there is evidence that many children or young people who might have received a diagnostic level do, in fact, grow out of their problems without professional help. For example, in Cohorn, found that while as many as 17.1% of children meet criteria for attention deficit hypersensitivity disorder, which is the ADHD. In childhood, this has fallen to 11.4% mid-adolescent and 5.8% in late adolescent. The above studies suggest that many people overcome problems by their own strengths and resource. It is a self-healing process that strengths-based approach to therapy and to enhance. Even then, people access professional support. There is evidence that it is their own actions and resources that makes the vital difference rather than those of the therapist. There is a wonderful quote we found in the book. It says, "It takes a village to raise a child." That means a child not only raised by his family, but also, by the community. So let's see the third theory, which is called towards inclusive and multi-system practice. In recent times, there has been a growing desire to be more inclusive and multi-systematic professional therapeutic work with children. Many family therapists have been concerned with developing a more child-focused practice, realizing that the inclusion of even young children perspective in therapeutic process is not only more ethical, but more effective in terms of outcomes, as Wilson put it. In addition, many child psychotherapists and play therapists now conceive of parents as partners in the therapeutic process, realizing that their constructive involvement is essential, helping the child in therapy. In the field of parent training, it's been shown that treatment is much more effective when social skills training is offered to the children as well as parent training to the parent. Not surprising, it has shown that outcomes further increased when teachers are also directly included in program. The concerns seem to be that the more significant people we constructively include in the therapy, the better outcome multi-systematic therapy, which builds on this premise, has demonstrated particular success in working with difficult cases such as young people at risk in criminal behavior. So, in this multi-system practice, we may ask whom to include or who to include. Children's case is not like adults. It has many or much different with adults in time of counseling. Due to this fact, as professionals hoping to work constructively with families in order to bring about positive change, we must ensure that we involve and include those who have the most power in the system, notably those who can bring about positive change in the child's life. This varies across families, across lifestyle. Let's take one example. If the problem occurs in the school, then they will support the teacher. If the problems are within the peer group, then they may either work with the peer group or collaborate with the youth service to redirect this young person to more social activities and groupings. So, as I said, who are the when we come to his family, who are the child's family? We may ask this question. Significantly, people who could be important in child's life, emotionally attached and connected with provide care or support or nourishment, We call it in this lesson as a family. We consider them a family. Now, when we think of this group of family, we may find that live away parents, foster parents, step parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, younger or older siblings, child minders, babysitters, these are considered as child family. So, who are the clients? In this regard, we cannot find a straightforward answer for this question. It might initially seem as there are maybe many more stakeholders and interested parties concerned with professional work than the child parents referred for a service. For instance, family, social worker, school counselor, teacher, general practitioner, means doctors, could be the clients, our clients. So depending on the context, the remit of professional work is not just determined by the goals of the child, of the family, but also those of professional agency, the referee, and the founders, and society at large. It's important to emphasize, however, that individual goals are usually best met when the interdependent and collective goals of significant others are also taken into account. So, what type of problems and goals will the client present with? Well, different families and demands various strategies can be applied here. However, everyone has goals or wants that are directly or indirectly related to improving their own or their children's well-being. So, what are the best service the professional agency can provide in systematic practice? In this case, the professional agency can provide family therapy, which is seen as a whole family, individual work with the children, for example, play therapy, something else, and individual work with adults, adolescents, individual work with parents, drug therapy, medication, couple therapy, or marital work with parents, group work with children and adolescents, group work with parents, drop-in group, for example, a family resource of after-school service, consulting, consulting and liaising with other professionals like teachers or caregivers. So all the above can be offered either in the home or in clinical settings such as child mental health setting, or indeed in a community setting as such as school or after school services. So this is all about chapter 1. In this chapter 2, we shall see about guiding principles of practice. In this chapter, we shall see 3 principles, basic principles, which are concerned of working with children and families from a collaborative, client-centered, strengths-based perspectives. The first one is building therapeutic alliance, which is collaborative relationships. The second is focusing on the strengths and skills resources. The third one is making the client goals and preferences central. So when we come to the first one, that is building therapeutic alliances, we found that being able to form a collaborative relationship with alliance with children and the key members of their family is essentially to effective therapy. The necessity of therapeutic alliance as a precondition of an effective helping relationship is one of the few undisputed conclusions from outcome research over many years. So central is therapeutic alliance. That all aspects of the helping relationship process, such as gathering information, or carrying out assessment should be secondary. At the heart of therapeutic encounter are human relationships that bring together the unique mix of clients and the therapist's personalities and histories. These therapeutic relationships are always unique, interchanging between two or more people, and it is impossible to generalize about what will work in all cases. A way of connecting with one client may not work with another in this case. So there are 5 principles that can help guide the therapeutic alliances, which is empathy and acceptance and genuineness, respectful curiosity, problem-free talk, humor, and self-awareness. When we come to empathy and acceptance, genuineness, empathically understood, unconditionally accepted, and that the therapist's replies were genuine, treatment may begin. When working with families, it is important to seek deeper understanding, which are inclusive of both children and parents, to construct positions where you are on everyone's side. The second one is respectful curiosity. In this regard, therapists can ask themselves to free their minds from the negative expectation of a problem, dominated referral letter, and to replace this with respectful and more optimistic curiosity. This question can help free us therapists from problem-focused mindset and give us a freedom to discover new perspective and ideas that are more useful in helping the family more forward. When we come to problem-free talk, an important way of establishing an alliance with client in solution-focused therapy is to start the session with problem-free talk. This means that the therapist engage the family in conversation about things that are going to right in their lives, and which do not necessarily have a connection to the problem that has brought them to the therapy. Almost this therapy focus on the future. Informal problem-free talk can resemble social chit-chat, though it has constructive orientation. A skilled therapist is listening carefully for strengths, skills, and resources that can be useful later in problem solving. So humor is another way of handling how to make alliance with our clients. So laughter is the quickest distance between the two people, says eligible. Humor is probably the most common way that people connect and join one another. So many interpersonal relationships, whether intimate or others, are built upon, sustained by shared sense of humors. So we apply humors in order to communicate or get their alliance with, to work toward the effective goals. So the other thing is self-awareness. In this regard, therapists need to be self-aware of their input to the therapeutic relationships. They need to work hard through self-reflection, supervision, and consultation to be aware of how their own thoughts and feelings are contributing to the process. The more self-aware we are, the more we can make choices about how best to respond. So when we come to focusing on strengths and skilled resources, depending on the theoretical orientation, a huge causes were proposed to explain children problems such as poor attachment between parent and child, and dysfunctional family communication, or individual factors such as parents' depression, alcoholism, or skill deficit in their parenting skill. Sometimes external factors were proposed such as homelessness, poverty, or deprivation. Case presentations were concerned with putting together a jigsaw causes effect to create a complete picture of the problems. Whatever the merit of problem analysis formulation, it is not sufficient in self to help family solve or move beyond them. Rather, excessive problem analysis can have some unwanted effects. Families can feel hurt, defensive, and demoralized by the pejorative descriptions and that such categories contain. So from distress to healing, a strengths-based therapy to approach to therapy is about paying attention and to cultivating the moment of connection and healing. By understanding these positive moments in more elaborate and rich detail, they can become more real and more readily accessible. In addition, people can learn how it is that they can bring about these moments, and these insights can be used to diminish the power of the difficult times. As we have seen, the guiding principle of practices, this is very interesting in our counseling, helping the child and the adolescent. So, as we have said, this video lesson is prepared by Gelila International Seminary College. We have seen the whole scenarios, how to handle and how to identify our clients, approach our clients with a systematic way in this chapter. So we will go to the next session after a while. So this is all about our discussion for today, and I hope you will find an important point regarding to who are the child family and who are our stakeholders, and what techniques we must apply in order to make our stakeholders and families of the child to be our allies. So I hope you get a good point of this discussion, and this is all about today, and next we shall see the other one.